Shalom Chavrim, I'm Steve Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live, and it looks like our live broadcast got cut off, mainly because the phone died, nothing that anybody else had anything to do with. So I wanted to real quick, put a quick charge back on this. I was actually on Hebrew Nation. We were doing the recording of the broadcast right there with Bonnie, and I wanted to come back real quick with you guys, update you what is actually going on, what we're seeing there on the ground, a couple of different things other than that as well. I'm going to cover real quickly, then I'm going to end this broadcast pretty fast so that we can make sure this thing uploads. So thank you all of our moderators as well for being here with us today. Trish, I don't know if anybody else is there, but God bless you, sisters, for being here as well. But anyway, we were getting reports in a little over an hour ago there that there is heavy clashes that have erupted. This is right from the Kurdish website. The Peshmerga forces against Iran's terrorist Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, as of course the way they stated here on their part there. I am still waiting for more updates about this, and of course the U.S. does back these particular Kurdish forces here, and I can only imagine they're setting the stage, bringing unrest in Iran, so that Iran gets busy with other fights that are going on in the ground as they get ready to take down the nation itself. So I do believe it's going to be one thing after another. As well, Russia said that they are ready to deliver the S-400 system to Iran, but the Iranians have not actually accepted the offer as of yet. Iran does have the S-300 system at their disposal inside their country already, and of course it is a formidable air defense system, but with a complete all-out assault, I don't know how well that's going to go. From what I have been told, I have also heard that if the U.S. does do a strike on Iran, there will be a large number of tactical nukes used in a battle against Iran. This is not going to go over so well. I don't think it's going to be just a pinprick against the nation there. We also saw the Times of Israel reporting that the U.S. has deployed stealth fighters to Qatar's airbase amid the Iran tensions, which Iran, to me, is not the one escalating the tensions. The tensions are being escalated by those little ISIS thugs that were trained by the Mossad there, and Al-Qaeda members trained by them, United Arab Emirates in cooperation with them to train them. 175 were trained to carry out attacks that are happening there in the region. And as one particular individual said to me, he's a good friend there that we have as well, very much in the know, he said that regardless of how you want to spin it, Steve, he said it ultimately comes down to the U.S.'s responsibility for allowing these militants to be trained to do these acts against Iranian targets, and then blaming them, not Iranian targets, but the attacks against the 6 ships in Iran's harbor, as well as the tankers that are being blamed by the U.S. allies, blamed on Iran that they were targeting it. But in fact, it was American-sponsored or U.S. military-sponsored terrorist attacks against Iran to draw them into war. So these fighter jets have been put there in place specifically and strategically for a war against Iran. And so I'm expecting that they are going to do an overwhelming response when that does come down. Now, besides that, another thing that is going on that I wanted to bring to you guys' attention there, and let me get the right article here. Hezbollah, this just came out today on Southfront's website there. Hezbollah has been secretly withdrawing from Syria, monitoring group, and they're doing this out of the media's eye. Now that tells me that Hezbollah, who's been helping the Syrians to overthrow the ISIS militants, jihadists, Al-Qaeda members that have been fighting against the Syrian government to overthrow President Bashar al-Assad, as they go back to Lebanon, they are getting ready because they know that when the war breaks out against Iran, that no doubt there's going to be a strike from Hezbollah from the north on Israel. And that is not the only concern that I think that people should be paying attention to. But there's also another thing that is happening there in the region that's also caught my eye as well, and that is that there is a skirmish between the Syrian army strikes on a Turkish military post in northwest Hama, which was a retaliatory strike against that of the Turks, where they had struck a Syrian post as well. if they continue this particular direction, and this may be very well scripted, that the Turks will actually invade Syria and trample over the Syrians and end up on the doorsteps of Israel as well. Now, we might think, well, we don't want to see this happen to Israel. I don't want to see a war against anyone, period. But it could also be something that is staged from the very beginning, because after all, in order for these very sinister groups, these extremists that are running the nation right now in Israel, they need a war to come where nations come unified against Israel in order to make it look like biblical prophecy is being fulfilled. Don't forget Daniel 11. The violent among your people, Daniel was told by the angel, will try to establish the vision. So the vision they want to establish is that Israel is surrounded by armies and is under a major attack, or the Gog of Magog war. They are trying to marry that vision or lift up the vision to make it look like it's coming to pass, when it's actually all a set stage for a new world order where an antichrist system will come out on the block. Speaking of an antichrist system, one thing let me let you know right now. We got some information recently that the sale of the Trump coin there, the proceeds are actually going, we'll bring this out on a chat with my wife, but the proceeds are going not only for the rebuilding of the third temple, but also for the killing and slaughtering and the training of the Jewish slaughterers for the third temple. To me, that would be a slap in the face to Christ, to sit there and actually fund the slaughter of animals when Christ himself was the ultimate sacrifice for our sins. And listen, don't throw people under the bus because they may be involved in the sales. That they may not know that the proceeds are going there. But, with love, if you know those things, let the people know how sinister, how evil these things are that are going on there. Because it's a serious hour that we're living in, friend. Also, the U.S. is, well, that's old news. We already know U.S. is always threatening sanctions on anybody and everybody and their neighbors. You name it, sanctions are always threatened. I thought this kind of interesting as well, though. Sputnik, they found this new artifact in Syria there. It was an Egyptian hieroglyphic that was unearthed there. Very interesting how this serpent wraps around this man. I won't even go into the details of that there. But talk about a wicked and an evil thing. The Egyptians were big into worshiping the serpent, and they make it look pretty sexual at that. So I'm not going to go into the details of that, but that's just real nasty. And it's kind of interesting because don't forget, there are those in the extreme Talmudic community that believe that there is a holy serpent, as they call him, and that will be the Messiah. They call it the holy serpent. Ugh. There's nothing holy about the serpent. That's just my opinion. I just tell you my thoughts on it. But anyway, we go into those things there. Check us out, BitChute Israeli News Live. I know people have a hard time finding that link. I'll try to post it in the news here below for you so you can find us on BitChute there. We are having a hard time getting some videos uploaded over there. Have no idea why, but it's almost like there is a block on every angle you can possibly imagine. I'm Steve Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. Sorry for the quick broadcast. I don't want it to die this time. Shalom.